Hello everyone and welcome to Mars Garden and Kitchen. I am starting my first seeds of the 2023 growing season today. I know it's very early, it's January, but I was looking through my seed packs and I noticed that some of the flowers that I had need to be sown very early. Last year I also fell in love with growing flowers, and while my flowers were in bloom back then, I ordered some seed packs to try some new things because I wanted to have some more flowers earlier in the season. Once I was going through them right now, I noticed that they have to be started way earlier. Some of them say 11 to 12 weeks before the last frost. Here in New York City in Queens, our last frost date is usually is set to be around April 14th. Actually, I just looked it up again and now says April 3rd. There's still a little bit cold here. We're in zone 7B. So last year I chose to plant a lot of my stuff more towards May. That's what the people that garden around this area says, that you plant out usually around Mother's Day. But this is our cool season. So even though in April 14th they might be a little bit cooler, they can take the cold. They like the cooler weather. For those flowers, they will be planted sooner, and then I'm still gonna follow the May Mother's Day poplar planting day here for the warm weather crops like the tomatoes and peppers, some other veggies that prefer the warmer temperatures. So starting some flower seeds today. One of the things that I'm most excited to grow this year, the flowers, are Lisianthus. I've been following a couple flower farm channels, and seeing the Lisianthus in their farm really made me want to grow some myself too, to try it out. I bought my seeds from Joni Seeds. I have 2 packs here. This one is a Voyage to Champagne color, so I have an accent, so I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing this wrong. I'm going to put the variety in the picture on the screen so you can see. And the second one, it's also from the Voyage to, which I understand they're the series of this type of flowers. And it's a First Love pelleted Lisianthus in this very gorgeous white color. Those are both hybrid seeds. For the vegetables, I tried to grow mostly heirlooms, but I really was in love with the look of this, and I would love to see if I can manage to grow them here in my garden. So I'm trying the F1 hybrids for this one from Joni's. I really like Joni's. They're a pretty reliable seed company, and I have luck with most of the stuff that I buy from them. So Lisianthus seeds are very small, and they usually come in this little tubes. Oh, there's not as many in here. I thought it was gonna be more. Those are a little bit expensive seeds too, but they're very beautiful flowers. As you see in their pictures on the screen, I think it's still worth it. Those are pelleted seeds. It means that they're covered, so Lisianthus seeds are very tiny. They're like sand almost. So some of them comes with this coating that helps you handle and see the seed and actually place in these spots. I'm gonna try to plant probably half of this. This is an experiment because I've never grown Lisianthus before. So what I have in mind, I'm gonna do half of these things now, see how they do, and probably start the other half for like a second planting and a couple more weeks. I already have all of my cells here with some potting mix. I just use regular potting mix for this. This time I use this Pro Mix pack here. Is a compressed pack. I can't really find it to sell here in New York City, but we went upstate for a little bit during the break, the holiday break, and I found this in a store there, so I bought a couple. This is mostly for flowers, so you can do vegetables in this too. It's not organic, but I'm using this to start the flowers this year. So to speed up the process, I have already put them all in here, fill up all these little trays. I can put a link in the description below to all the stuff that I'm using here today too. First thing that I do always is just to label it, to put a tag. So this one is First Love Lisianthus. Hope I'm pronouncing this correctly too. And the date. And I'm going to start with this first before I open the other pack because I don't want to get these seeds mixed up. I will start with this row over here and plant them all in. Hopefully I can do these 2 trays, but again, I don't want to use all of my seeds at once. So I'm going to just get hopefully half of them. And then I'm going to do just 1 seed per cell this time. Usually with vegetable seeds or other more common seeds, I'll do 2, but these are quite special. And I've watched a bunch of other people starting them, and they say that putting 1 per cell with the pelleted packs is fine. So I'm gonna try it out and see how it goes, how it works for me too. So it's just gonna go, they're very tiny, so I'm sure I don't need to cover them with a lot of soil. I will read the requirements again and see if they need light to germinate, but I'm just going to place, oh, maybe I have enough for 2 each. 12. I do have limited space here, so I can't grow enormous amount of them. A few of them I'm gonna put 2. Let's see, just for insurance. Just because I have the seeds in my hand, there's still half of them in the pack as well. I'll put these other ones away. So actually behind the pack here on the seed packs usually tells you lots of information how to grow, and this one actually says so 12 to 13 weeks. I thought it was 11, so I'm a little behind, but we'll try. And it also says do not cover seeds as light is needed for germination, so I'm just going to leave them just as is. A good thing they're the yellow, so I can actually see them. If they're white, I'll think they look like just a little perlite that's in the potting mix. Let's see how it goes. I'll be able to tell who germinates or not. This is the first love, and now I'm gonna move on to the second one, this champagne color. I would do the next 12 cells for this. Same with this, the seeds are yellow, and I'm gonna place them right on top of the soil carefully. I like that I can see them. So you could technically kind of just sprinkle them in the soil. I've heard some other people say, but it's my first time growing it, so I like to kind of be more careful when it's always the first time that I'm growing something, until I kind of like, you know, decide to be a little bit more adventurous, I guess. But this is, I'm gonna start in the conventional method, giving them a lot of space. If they don't germinate, I will just plant something else. But we're gonna try. So here we go. You can barely see that they're in the soil. See these little yellow dots? Now I still have all of these other ones here, and I'm gonna plant a few other things too. I actually took out of my seed pack a lot of things. There's all of this stuff. I started my Snapdragons very late last year, and I talked to someone at the farmer's market, and he said they can start them super early because you're supposed to pinch them. So I might start maybe 6 Snapdragons, I don't know, or maybe 12, just to see. And I have sweet peas in here too. And the stock, this is my first time growing these too. They're so beautiful. I bought this because of the Baker Creek catalog. This is also a cool season crop. Even though this in the pack here says that you should start them in early spring. It just says sow in place in early spring. So Baker Creek usually is not as specific as the structures from Joni's, but I going to start this super early too, because from what I was reading, they need a cool treatment. So I'm going to plant them out early, and I'll give them a little protection with my hoops and the frost cover. So maybe I'll do the stock next, and then I'll see what else I'm going to do to fill up these other trays. When I'm starting seeds, I actually like to start like a whole tray every time. I wouldn't like to just do like an empty tray and then put something else. I might as well start the whole tray. I could do all the Lisianthus, but I kind of want to, I don't have a lot of space in the garden, so I can't start a lot at once. And I do like to have variety and try different things, so I'm gonna do the stock, and then I might do the Snapdragons. Stock first. Those are just regular seeds, not pelleted seeds, so let's see how they look like. They're very small as well. What does it say at depth? It says seed depth 1/4 of an inch, so I can cover this one a little bit. I read too that also not as many seeds on this pack. The stock is in the Brassica family. Here's how the seeds look like. Kind of look like mashed up Brassica seeds, not round. Maybe this one I'm gonna do 2 per, because they're not pelleted, and I would like to kind of have insurance that they're gonna germinate. Oh, I ended up doing more than I thought. Yeah, I will do 2 rows. Let's see how that goes. So 1/4 of an inch is very little, so I'm just going to cover it lightly. That's all that I'm gonna do. So this one, that one I didn't put any soil on top. This one I could just kind of lightly put a little bit soil on top. I'm bottom watering this to make sure that the seeds are not going to get displaced. I'm gonna do Snapdragons next. This is a mix from Baker Creek seeds too. I can also put the link to all these seeds in the description box down below if you guys are curious. And I have some from Joni's that I want to start, but I might hold off into those for a little bit. I want to grow the mix because I'm curious to see about all this color, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the mix first, and maybe in a couple more weeks I will start those two. This one say 8 to 10 weeks before your last frost. I only grew Snapdragons once last year, and they took forever to germinate, and the ones I grew from seed didn't do very good because I started them too late and they were tiny when I planted them out, so I kind of need a refresher how to plant this. So this is a test run, this is an experiment. Before I use my nice expensive seeds, I'm gonna go with those ones first. And then in a couple weeks I'll decide. Oh, there's a lot of seeds in this pack. They're tiny too, but there's a lot of seeds in here. Let's see, this one I'll probably put 2 or 3. They're tiny. This one says surface sow. Yeah, so surface sow, the same as we did with the Lisianthus. I won't press them down, just throw them on top and let them be. They're tiny. I don't think I can count like only 2. On this, I'm kind of gonna have to sprinkle them around. Well, I'm gonna put more because I couldn't see them in the lost count. There's a lot in this pack, so I guess I can afford to be a little bit more generous. I don't know how many plants are going to sprout, but I'm just going to kind of lightly sprinkle them over these guys here and see how it goes. I have 2 more of those big seed trays. I might do those sweet peas in there. I have this very nice sweet peas. I think for the size of the package I probably have very few seeds in here. So sweet pea is actually not edible. Oh, there's very little. If I knew I wouldn't have as many seeds in this, I'll probably have ordered 2 packs. Now they're already sold out in their website because I looked. Should I soak them before I plant this? It doesn't say to soak. Usually soak pea seeds, but since they're gonna be here for a very long time, I'm gonna do seeds too. I'm not gonna soak this time. So this one is the sweet pea fix. I'm gonna just do like this. I'm gonna put 1 per pack, and I think this is like regular peas, so I will sow them a little deeper. I hope it works, because those are special seeds, but you gotta try, you know. Never done it before. I'm gonna see how it goes. And then this is the red variety. I've got more seeds on those here, but I'll see. I will start with 6 as well. Oops, a lot more seeds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Then I'm probably gonna do another planting a little later in the season. This is just my test run. Kind of like to just put that in there and then poke it with my finger a little lower. And then I'll come over and just cover everything. Alright, so the first round of seeds is done. They're so exciting. I got a little burnt out from the garden last year. I talk a bit more about it in the little update that I posted, but when it gets cold like this and then you get the shifting of the season, all the excitement seems to come back. So I'm very excited again. Just putting this soil in these trays and going through my seeds already made me really want to plan the garden for the next season. I just did this because I don't want to be behind with seed starting this year. It's very early. Last year I did not start seeds this early, but last year I grew mostly vegetables. This year I will make a whole video about it soon about the plants, but this year I'm trying to downsize the garden a bit because it was very time consuming to deal with all the harvest that we came. We have a very tiny kitchen in New York City and it was a little bit overwhelming for me, even though most of the stuff that you guys see here, it's all from the garden. Some things are dried in the dirty dehydrator, and this is what remains from my canning projects and some fermentation stuff there. I already used a lot of it because it's already January, but it's kind of nice to see that we still have stuff from our garden even though it's in the dead of winter. I'm going to post a more detailed update when I kind of sit down and make the final plan, but I am planning to have a bit more of a low maintenance garden this year. This is going before my plan because once I was looking at the seed packs, I realized that they had to be sown very soon since they're all cool season flowers, and they are an experiment, so I just want to see how they're gonna look, what they're gonna do. But I would love to have early spring blooms. Hopefully they will work. I'm gonna go ahead and water these guys since those seeds are very tiny, all of them other than the peas. I'm going to bottle water this tray. That's my preferred method of starting seeds anyway. I talk a little bit more about it in this video that I'm gonna link up here from when I started my first seeds of last year. For now, I'm just gonna water this in the bottom. I do have a cover for this. Wait a second. Alright, I'm back. This is from Joni's. It's like a little dome that makes some little kind of mini greenhouse effect. This bottom trays in here also from Joni's. I'll link it up. I'll see you guys so you guys see what I use. But this works like this. You could just put it on top. It'll keep the moisture in and help to be a little bit warmer too. I have a heating mat. I'm not going to use it. This is staying here inside my apartment. I just want to see if they will germinate or not. I am going to go ahead and water this now so I don't forget, and then I'm gonna cover this, put it away. So bottom watering is very simple. I kind of don't want to take, I'm gonna take on the Snapdragons one out. But you just basically put the water, oops, in the bottom of the tray. And then the soil that's a little dry, it will start absorbing the water from the bottom, and that way it won't disturb any of the seeds on top. It's also recommended that you mist the top just to help to give a little bit moisture to the seeds and help hydrating them to start the process of germination. But I don't have my mister right now. I don't know what it is. I'm going to just do this and put the dome. The dome will create some moisture on it too. Once it gets hot, some moisture will accumulate in here and then drip it back. So that way the surface keeps a little moist too. But I'm gonna look for it, and if I find it later, I'm going to mist them very lightly. The next video that I'm planning to film is a 2022 garden review. I do want to go through my videos and my notes through the last gardening season before I plan my garden for this year. Last year, I have to admit, I acted a little bit by impulse. I started a lot of things. I learned a lot last year. I did not use any kind of pest control. I just let the garden be and sort of, you know, take care of itself. I didn't do neem oil, I didn't do BT, nothing, any of this. Did lose some crops because of it, the cucumbers, and we had the vine borers that ate most of our squash. It's okay, because the tomatoes then flourished, took the space, and produced tons of tomatoes. So it was a give and take, but it was great overall. But I want to kind of think about all of that before I get too excited and just start a bunch of new seeds for the new year, because that's what I did last year. We're gonna try to be a little bit more organized this year. Because I have this great tool, that's this YouTube channel, I have the ability to go back and look at my videos. I will be able to then have a better idea of how I want to plan the garden for this year. So here it is, a little bit ahead of the time. I wanted to do this after I do the video planning about the next year, but hey, sometimes things gotta happen, you know. I have to start these seeds. It's better if I start earlier for some things and then try again in a couple weeks, then regret that I didn't start them early enough like I did last year with the Snapdragons. This is going to live here. I found my mister. But one more thing I almost forgot. This is going to be here just until I start seeing any green here. If they germinate, they're gonna go under grow lights immediately. I have a video already talking about my grow light setup, so if you're curious, I'll link that in the description box below too. Thank you so much for watching today. If you missed the last update where I kind of talk a bit more why I didn't post as much at the end of the year, I will link the video right over here that you can watch next. I hope you're having a great day. Thank you again, and I'll see you next time. I'm starting the I have all right, but try to stay focused here. The vegetables I would to deal and process. And we'll create some moisture on it too.
Alright, I'm gonna get out of here.